Dearest Aisha, thank you so much for your being here. My question is about total dedication, devotion, and control. I have experienced a couple of times that I have really lost control and have been completely freaked out. It was always in a group in a therapeutic context. That scared me, and I do not know if it makes me too afraid to merge with God completely, because that is my dearest wish, but I feel in me this but. What happened there when I lose control so much? What is it about?
Yeah. So in our openings, um, let's just make it clear that on one hand we have the development of ourselves as consciousness, as love, as stillness, and silent holding. That's on one hand. On the other, we have the feminine. So for us to be able to fully and totally live the surrender, these two, they have to come together. So if you're a point which lets go down into the feminine without approaching yourself or standing with that approach from yourself as the masculine. Understand me correctly. It's like as a point of perception, you can just disappear into these things. And then that which appears there, which requires a firm holding of yourself in silence, if you're not taking that responsibility, then that which pops up in the feminine will just be acting out. So when you get lost in whatever appears from the feminine, then actually, to say it straight, it's just something from the depth that picks you by the neck and then starts acting out. I've seen this with many people. And basically, it comes down to being so straight about the situation that you relax yourself into silence while allowing things to open up. But if you are denying your relationship with your own masculine while wanting to deepen into the depths of her, this is not possible because she is not apart from him. And this is the gist of it. This is the reality of it, that unless we are approaching our surrender with and from consciousness, then actually it's like stepping into a bee's nest. Like, we have to do it responsibly. We have to be willing to let go into the silence while whatever appears in the equation. So there's no sense in as such being like scared of surrendering to God. That's not the point. But you need to acknowledge what the reality of God is, because it's not only letting go of control. It is not only that. It is the mix between letting go of control on one level and taking full responsibility on another level. And that responsibility level, it needs to be brought in, because this is how the real she is born. Otherwise, it's not the real deal going on. Otherwise, it's okay, there's an opening, and then something that needs to be dealt with rises from the depths. But then, well, you're not there as consciousness to take care of it. You're not taking responsibility. And then that just stacks out, and then everyone else has to deal with it. This is not to the point. No. Yeah. So I'm saying this because basically when I work with people, I make it very clear that we can't just be masculine or we can't just be feminine. It's like, yes, we have to embrace our essence, but we also have to balance our masculine and feminine. Because as men, if we don't if we don't balance with our feminine, then actually we just become just pure heart. And then there is no real man. Like, there are no balls in the equation, yeah? There's no man present. There's no plug-in with the earth. And then there's not a man. But the same goes for woman. Like, if she only goes into herself without balancing with her masculine, then she will like generate greater and greater power as she passes things, but she will become less and less able to hold herself, less and less able to be centered, to be in a responsible relationship with herself as she opens deeper and deeper. Us holding ourselves is it requires us to root as the stillness of being. I'm not talking about just that empty, disconnected silence. I'm talking about power of presence, the power of that silence which is deeply black light. It's heavy and it can hold any kind of weather. Not just a storm, but like universal shakings. But it's almost like there are different degrees of bad weather inside of this journey. And we start with needing to be able to hold ourselves in a storm. That's like one level of teaching. And then as it grows, we also have to grow in our silence to be able to hold those greater and greater powers which are released to us in our embrace of the feminine. Otherwise, it's like if we cannot hold ourselves in the silence, what we become is something deeply manipulating. And for anyone to be safe here, as women, we have to take that part of the responsibility as well. Just like the men needs to embrace their feminine, we also need to embrace our masculine.